In 2009, 300 million Africans lacked access to clean water. In response, the Coca-Cola Africa Foundation launched the Replenish Africa Initiative, or RAIN. In the face of the world's greatest water crisis, RAIN set its sights on an ambitious goal: to bring sustainable, safe water access to 2 million people across Africa by the end of 2015. With an unprecedented commitment of $30 million, RAIN was established as the largest corporate water investment on the African continent, spanning 37 countries. RAIN was designed to catalyze a powerful response to Africa's water crisis. Since its launch, RAIN has mobilized change by investing in champions who inspire success in their communities.
We always thought that Coca-Cola is about quenching our thirst, but now we have learned that Coca-Cola is about building our nation.
Recognizing that we can do more together than we could accomplish alone, RAIN has brought together over 140 government, civil society, and private sector partners, working side by side to support people in every corner of their communities. Every day, through RAIN partnerships, women are empowered through employment opportunities. School children are spending more time in the classroom and less time sick from waterborne diseases. The urban poor are receiving local water connections for the first time. Youth are capitalizing on opportunities for income generation and leadership. Billions of liters of water are replenished in communities and nature. Since its inception, RAIN has empowered 2,000 communities and schools, returned 7.1 billion liters of water to communities and nature each year, and economically empowered over 19,000 women. After reaching an average of 1,000 people a day, RAIN reached its 2 millionth beneficiary in November 2015, fulfilling its first commitment. To date, RAIN has reached over 2.4 million people. RAIN is building on this momentum to reach 6 million people with sustainable, safe water access by 2020. Over the past 6 years, RAIN has built a stronger Africa. One woman, child, community, and nation at a time.
Good afternoon and welcome everybody to what will be a very special celebration of the Replenish Africa initiative this afternoon. So today we're joined by associates from the Atlanta office here. We're joined by our partners in sustainability. We're joined by a past and a current president of the Coca-Cola Foundation. We are joined by the Board of Trustees of the Coca-Cola Africa Foundation, and we have one very, very special guest for you today. But before I introduce that guest, I want to invite up on stage the president of the Coca-Cola Africa Foundation, Dr. Susan Mboya-Kidero.
Thank you, Hamish, and good afternoon, everyone. And thank you all for being here with us today to celebrate what is, for us in the Coca-Cola Africa Foundation, the culmination of 5+ years of hard work and a lot of effort on our own part, on the part of our fantastic partners, and on the communities who have worked with us to achieve this incredible goal of reaching 2 million beneficiaries at the end of 2015. This journey continues for us. This is something that the Coca-Cola Africa Foundation and the company as a whole is committed to for the long term. So appreciate everybody being with us here today to celebrate this tremendous milestone for us. I won't take up a lot of your time because I think you have a lot of great people to hear from today. I want to thank B. Perez for joining us today for even just for a few minutes, because B, as the Chief Sustainability Officer, is also very key, or has been a key supporter and driver of the efforts of this work. And actually, at this point, without any further ado, I'm going to ask B to come up and say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm short, so let's see, I'm going to pull this down. Thank you, Susan. So I'd like to welcome you all here to the Coca-Cola Company on behalf of Muhtar Kent, our chairman of our company, and our colleagues and associates from all around the world. We're thrilled to have you here, and if Muhtar weren't busy with customers, business planning, and the Rio Olympics, he would personally be here, I know, because he's very proud of the work that's happening here. So, like Susan said, B. Perez, I've been with Coke for 23 years, and I have the great pleasure of being the Chief Sustainability Officer for the company. However, for those of you in the room who know, I simply get to represent the global voice and set strategy. It is everyone here in the room who makes it happen and who serves the communities around the world through these partnerships. And with that, you know, we do have several partners in the room, and I'll list some of the names, and some of them are long names. The Global Environment Technology Foundation, GTF, Mercy Corps, MedShare, City Hope, all of you who've helped make RAIN happen. We cannot do this alone. We work in partnership with you all, as well as with governments, the bottling partners, a local business, and the communities. And it's because we believe that when communities are thriving, we all thrive and the world benefits. And we've been, I'm sure you know, in Africa for over 90 years today, and benefiting from the great work that's happening on that continent, and hopefully being able to contribute as well. And what I've seen is over the years, the Coca-Cola Africa Foundation has made a significant impact. It is always putting people first and understanding that through putting people first through the foundation initiatives and focused today on water, we're able to drive a sustainable business on the ground. And that foundation there, I think since 2009, set the ambitious goal, very ambitious goal, to bring safe access of clean drinking water to 2 million Africans. And as you saw in the video, has already surpassed that goal. I know we're here to celebrate it today, but now 2.4 and going further to 6 million. And what I really want to do is take a moment to also pause and talk a little bit about how this work happens. It does happen through that golden triangle, and the foundation's also on track to deliver over 100 million in co-investment for people who believe in the work that the Africa Foundation is doing and have decided not to just emotionally invest, but financially invest in this work to see it come to life. And that's extraordinary. That's a very unique situation that you all have a lot to be proud of, because what they're saying is, we trust you to deliver this great work, and we're putting our faith in you as people. And we know that with all the great partnerships, there's one particular partner that I would like to call out because they've been the implementation partner on RAIN and have driven this forward. And two of them are sitting right here, and I'm going to rename you all because GETF is a very long name. But I would like to point out, of course, Tom Harvey and Monica Ellis for being here today with us to celebrate this. And it's remarkable because in a few minutes you're going to hear from our special guest. I will stay for a little portion of the conversation. I am also this afternoon doing an NPR interview where I'm going to get the benefit of talking about RAIN and some of your accomplishments. So you will see me slide out, so I apologize I can't stay for everything. But our special guest was the first beneficiary from RAIN. And so, and forgive me for not pronouncing your name properly. I know I'm going to mess it up because it's Virginia? Yes, thank you. From Kenya, and you flew all the way here to share your story with our special guest. And you are the reason why we do this work. You're the reason why. And we know that there's another, 6 million that will benefit, but without having the first, it's hard to get to the second and the third. So thank you for being here and joining us today. And I just want to also personally thank the Coca-Cola Africa Foundation Board of Trustees who are all here. I know you are all here and have had a long couple days of meetings, and thank you for doing that, as well as the support and strategic direction of Ambassador Segun Apata, who's the chairman of the Coca-Cola Africa Foundation. Of course, Dr. Susan Mboya, who is the president of the Coca-Cola Africa Foundation on the side. She also has other full-time jobs. And she's also she's the secretariat who's been managing Leading RAIN, so thank you. And also the women economically empowered you saw on those charts, that also falls under Susan. So thank you for lending yourself and your expertise as well to these organizations. And I want to thank everyone again, just on a final note, for your commitment to keep going forward together. I did not read the African proverb that everyone in here knows, but we definitely go further when we go together. And thank you for going together with Coca-Cola, and we hope to have many more years to work together. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over so you can receive a proper introduction. Thank you.
Thank you, Bea, for welcoming us and for those remarks. As Bea mentioned, the Global Environment and Technology Foundation, I can say it, I didn't stumble over it, but I'm going to go to GETF now. They've been our partners in RAIN for many years, and they play an important and convening role in us achieving our 2 million target of RAIN beneficiaries. So I want to invite to the stage now Tom Harvey, who is chairman of GETF, and Monica Ellis, chief executive officer of GETF, to share their experiences of the partnership, our achievements, and the path ahead.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Well, I'm Monica Ellis. Thanks for having us here today. We're honored. And in 2008, I've been working with the Coca-Cola Company since about 2004 on its water risk and water stewardship programs. But in 2008, we got a special assignment to take a look at water risk in Africa and to come up with a unique program of how to address that risk in partnership with communities, looking at the unique assets that the Coca-Cola Company has on the continent. So it's one of those best assignments, blank page start, do the research, talk to stakeholders, and present options to make the world a better place. So what we did as part of that is take a look at the facts. And at the time, the facts were clear that Africa was the only continent that was not making progress against the Millennium Development Goals. There are about 300 million people that lacked access to clean water and sanitation. The sanitation numbers were higher. And our interest was looking at ways to address that because they were going to continue, not making progress due to population growth. So we wanted to look at sub-Saharan Africa in particular and address human suffering through clean water access programs. What we also know in Africa and all over the world is that water really defines the human experience. It's what limits our potential or gives flight to our potential on this planet, to every person in the world. So if you have clean water as an infant, you're going to be able to absorb nutrients and thrive. If you don't and contract waterborne disease as a young child, you're much more likely to suffer from intellectual stunting and also from physical stunting. I'm just going to give you a couple examples. If you have water close to your home or in your home as a child, you're more likely to go to school instead of hauling water, as many of your African colleagues have done. In fact, Ambassador Apata and I were just talking about this in Rio. And if you have access to water and clean sanitation at your school, you're more likely to stay at school, particularly when you hit a certain age, puberty, and many women drop out of school at that time. If you're a woman trying to provide for your family, and you have access and availability to clean water, it makes all the difference in the time and energy that you have to do that. So, this was just something that hit on all things. It was a no-brainer. It was, serving up the potential for the commitment was one of the best things I think I've ever done in my entire career. So there's a lot of examples of how water helps, but it is the common denominator, and it's really the ultimate force multiplier and the foundation for human potential. But no one knows that better than Coca-Cola. In my 12 years of working with you all, what I've seen is that Coca-Cola really stands for water and the protection of this resource all over the world. So it's our real honor to be in partnership with you on RAIN. Africans get the job done. And together we have been pleased to be your partner in achieving this first goal for RAIN and 2 billion. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Tom, and he gets to do the victory lap on what RAIN has accomplished. And I just want to thank you all for your partnership.
Well, thank you very much. And you have heard so much from Bea. It was articulated so well, and from Monica, and from the video on many of the accomplishments. But I get to say thank you to a lot of different folks here. And I won't be able to name them all. But I do want to highlight Muhtar Kent. Because back in 2009, when this commitment was made, you remember what was happening? Everybody was running for the exits because it was a terrible economic crisis across the globe. And it took a lot of courage to say we're going to commit resources to one of the most significant problems in the world anyway. Not many folks would have done that, and he did that. So from that moment, that certainly gave us the mandate to drive forward, and also to use the Coke brand to attract others to join. Because Coca-Cola can't pay for everything to fix this problem, but you can stimulate others. I can't tell you how many people come and say, how do I do a program something like Coke? Maybe not as big, but how? And so that's the shining example that you all give every day. And one of the things that really is gratifying to us is that every day that you come to work and our people come to work and the many partners that come to work across the Coke system, 1,000 people have water who didn't have water the day before. Think about that. That's the difference between people living and dying. Virginia knows that better than anyone, and she'll tell us that story. So you've heard that we've crossed 37 countries, and we're very eager to reach more. Some of those countries are very hard. We're still very eager to reach more wherever we can, and we're going to continue that process. We did surpass our goal in November, and now we're at 2.4 million, and we anticipate in the next couple months we'll even have a couple 100,000 more beneficiaries, and then we will be launching we're starting now into our 2020 goals. So there's just been great progress. Some other achievements that you heard about, replenishing 7 billion liters. It's a rather significant contribution that you all have made, and I know that Hamish and Nora and Vukani all appreciate that more than anyone, and I have to highlight the three of them in particular because they've been such incredible supporters throughout this. So we thank you all for being part. We couldn't have done this work without that kind of help. I also want to talk about the 300,000 school children who have benefited from water. I mean, Monica articulated it very well, and we've seen it as Dorcas and I and others have run around all of these different communities with Monica and our teams. We've seen the impact if you have water in a school. Water is life, and sanitation is dignity in that life. And if you have the two of them, they create opportunity in life. That's what it is. And that's what those children demonstrate every day if you give them that chance. And that's the joy that you bring into their lives because of the support that you do. Thank yous. There are just so many people to thank, and you in particular and your leadership team have been such an incredible support element. And Michael Goldsman and his team, the Coke system has so many different components, and what you see here are only a small fraction of all of those components. There's so many others who have been a big part of this. Nathan, your critical support constantly and stretching us to go further. He always pushed us hard to go further. And that is the kind of motivation and leadership and inspiration that's been critical to keep the momentum going, even when it's hard, even when you're challenged, even when the revenues are down for a quarter and you're saying, are we really going to do this? And those leaders said, yes, we're really going to do this no matter what. That's significant. Ambassador Pata, we're so glad that you're here with us. We're looking forward to your leadership and your connections and helping us to take this even further. Susan, you're an inspiration. We love working with you. You're very hard on us sometimes, and we appreciate that. And sometimes we're hard on you, and that's what good partners do. It's almost like a marriage. But so far, we're still together. So I also want to thank Ingrid Saunders-Jones and Helen Price and Carlos. Where's Carlos? I know Carlos is there. I mean, you've been there from the start. It's just been amazing. And we thank you for making us better because of the way that you've helped push us. Alex Cummings, Bill Egby, just absolutely incredible support. William Masico, Cherie Cherini from the early days. The entire TCAF team with Dorcas and Dineo, Mercy, just absolutely incredible. And there's so many others who are part of that. And I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about Jeff Seabright. I mean, Dr. Water, and Dan Vermeer and Greg Koch. I mean, without that kind of help in the early days and that kind of vision, I mean, we met for a month in the basement of this building trying to frame how we do this. And it was because of that work that we've been able to achieve this together, all of us together. There's someone special I want to mention, and that's Peter Gisharu from Swaziland. As many of you know, Peter passed a couple years ago, and Peter was part of the Swazi finance team. I don't think there's any better way to remember his memory than have him be celebrated as part of this, because he was one of those quiet giants who always served, who always found a way to bring better thought and focus and process, but in a way that was positive, in a way that overcame obstacles and found solutions. Rather than dwell on problems, he solved problems. And it was that kind of leadership that we saw every day throughout the Coke system. So to Peter, I salute him for that contribution, and he'll never be forgotten for that. Just a remarkable man, and we do miss him. 2 million people, that's a lot of people. 2,000,004 is even more. And we are very proud to have a representative of that group of people who Coca-Cola has been a partner with. And Virginia represents that. Naivasha is a tough environment. It's about not quite 100 kilometers from, did you like that? It came on just when I said Naivasha. That was pretty cool, it worked. It's about 100 kilometers from Nairobi. It's a lake area with about 150,000 people around us, and more people coming, because as you know, in Kenya, there's a water shortage. And so people are going wherever the water is. The water is not very clean, it's nasty. 90% of the people get water from vendors. The water has a terrible fluoride content, which causes bone abnormalities as well as stained teeth, which has a negative health and also an appearance impact. And so in 2007, Water and Sanitation for the Urban Poor, one of our implementing partners, started working in that area. And what they felt was that if they could help the local utilities to improve their capacity and extend that service to those who are at the outer reaches of their service area, that they could bring healthy water to the community and thus raise the whole community. And so Coca-Cola joined them in this process, and the result of that is that they we've been drilling boreholes, we've been purifying water, we've been having fluoride treatment capability, we've been having sustainability lessons and teaching people how to maintain these systems. We've also implemented sanitation and hygiene training. So about 45,000 people have been impacted from just this project. And that is the program that Virginia has been able to be part of as one of the early participants, but not just a part, a leader. That's what's so key. She not only saw an opportunity for herself, but she saw an opportunity to raise the community around her. And so with that, I think I have said more than enough, and I'm looking forward to hearing from Virginia, and I'm going to turn this back over to Hamish to do so. Thank you so much.
Tom thanked a lot of people in his remarks, and I think it goes without saying, it's hard to appreciate the amount of effort and experience that goes into what they do. So I just want to say thank you again to the GETF team, to Tom, to Monica, to Nabia, and all the folks who work with them one more time for everything that you've done for us. And now it is my distinct pleasure and honor to formally introduce Virginia. You've already had a little bit of a taste of Virginia's history. She is Virginia Gichanga from Naivasha in Kenya. As Bea mentioned, she was one of the very, very first people in the RAIN program. She was an employee in a flower farm in Naivasha. And then thanks to the RAIN project, she was able to take a position as a water vendor in one of the newly constructed kiosks. And as she became more involved in that project, she began to realize the opportunities that RAIN offers. So some of those opportunities for women include kiosk construction, business training, mentoring, and she took advantage of all of these opportunities. So she is a leader in the Naivasha community. A member of the Water Users Association Board, she empowers other women in the community by leading them through the opportunities that RAIN creates for them in those communities. She also serves as chairperson of local women's groups and revolving funds, which provides loans to women that allow them to expand their businesses. She's a champion in her community. She's just one of many of those who have benefited from everything that RAIN brings and offers to them. It's a stepping stone to success, and who better than to talk about it than Virginia herself. So please join us, tell your story.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I come from Naivasha. Naivasha is a sub-county in Nakuru County in Kenya. First of all, I would like to thank the office of Mrs. Susan Kidelo, Susan Boya, for facilitating my travel and my stay in Atlanta. I'm humbled and I appreciate everything you've done for me. I come from Naivasha, but originally I am not from Naivasha. If you take a look at my teeth, they are not brown. And everybody who is born and brought up in Naivasha, their teeth are a bit brown and tainted because of the level of fluoride in water. I was originally staying in Nairobi back in the years around from around 1990 to around 1999. By then I was married, but later on I separated from my husband. That is how I ended up in Naivasha. I am mother of 3. I think my body and my age don't kind of tally. I'll be 45 next April. I have a daughter who is 24 years. She's in university, second year. I have a son who is 20 years, and I have a daughter who is 16 years, who is in her last year in high school, ready to join university. I went to Naivasha after I separated with my husband, having so many problems, having some psychological problems. I think all of you know that separation and divorce usually take a toll on women, and I went through all that. And when I was going to Naivasha, I was being invited by a sister who was working in a certain hotel to go and try to start life afresh in Naivasha. I went to Naivasha in the year 2000, worked in the hotel for 1 year. I found that the pay I was getting was not enough. And by then, my daughter was about to join high school, my firstborn daughter. And I was kind of thinking, let me try somewhere else. That is how I ended in the village, now the settlement known as Karagita, where this project started. I started a small business, but due to some issues here and there, the business didn't make it. I left my children with my mother because I couldn't afford to stay with my children in Naivasha, and I was still psychologically tortured after the separation. So I moved to that place known as Karagita, and I started a business which didn't do well. I decided to venture into, to try and get employment in the flower farms. And by the way, Naivasha is the home of floriculture and horticulture. So most of the beautiful flowers you see here, they come from that area, but the employees who work in the flower farm are poorly paid. So residents of Karagita are people who earn very little. They are low-income earners with very many problems, water included. So when I went to the flower farm, I found that I was being affected by the chemicals. And after a short while, about a year, I decided to go back to my small business, although I was opening my business at the end of the day. In the evening, I used to sell the little I had. And in Naivasha, being a place where the income is very low, whoever comes to your shop doesn't have cash many of the times. So it's give me, I'll pay you tomorrow, I'll pay you at the end of the month, which might never be paid. So that is the life I was leading. You see the business is low. I don't have a very big stock. So at the end of the day, you find that you are running out of stock. The money is out there, and still you have bills to pay. By then, I was staying in a very, very small house, 10 by 10 feet. That is my kitchen. That is my bedroom. And that is my sitting room. And that is my everything. I used to call it a self-confused room, not self-contained. Because it didn't know what it is. But all in all, I was surviving. In the middle of all that, I got a lady friend who is a doctor, a gynecologist in Nairobi, known as Dr. Kihara. She was a friend to my brother. She decided to take me through counseling after I saw that, my brother saw that I was going down, down, down. She uplifted me, and she told me, this is not the end. Virginia, you can move from here, and you go to the next level. She even encouraged me, and she paid partly for me to join a guidance and counseling school for some times, college, so that I can learn some basic skills on counseling and all that. She told me, I'll be here. I've helped you, but I need you to help other women who will be going who will be going through the same thing you've gone through. And I did it, but due to some other problems, you can't find job with just a certificate in Kenya. I went back to my business. It was tough. Naivasha, if you don't have money, you can't cook by then. Naivasha, if you don't have money, you can't wash your clothes. So when you don't have money, we used to take our clothes, put them in bags, and go down to the lake. The nearest to the lake is about 1 kilometer, and the farthest is about 3 or 4 kilometers. So you go to the lake, you wash your clothes. Sometimes people used to take their beds there. You wash your body there, and just in the open, those who don't mind. And you take a jerrycan of 20 liters. You come back with water. Now you can see the water we were using. We have washed our clothes. Some have taken their beds there, and the soap and all that. And then you take the same water, you go and cook with it. You go and use it for the domestic use. That means you don't have time for anything else, because you have to wait for your clothes to dry. That means that day you can't do anything else. You just have to stay there. Then you take your jerrycan and come back home. To tell you the truth, my 2 daughters refused to come, and even during the holidays, to Naivasha, because they saw it as a hardship area. Because I could tell them, today is your turn to go and wash clothes at the lake. So they preferred to stay with their grandmother, because at home, where I come from, there was no, water is in plenty. So at the end of the day, I was staying alone, and you can see the loneliness I had. I separated with the husband. My children have refused to come and stay with me during the holidays, because in the first place, I couldn't have taken them with me to Naivasha, because paying for their school fees would be, and catering for their everyday need would be a problem. So they would refuse. My firstborn daughter told me, no, I better stay with my grandmother. I won't be going to that lake where you meet all kinds of people, where you find people who are naked and they don't care. And to me, I found that at least if I insist they come, I won't be doing justice to them. So they had to stay with my mother. I had to stay alone. Later, when I left the flower farm, when I started the business, With the guidance and counseling I got, I decided to venture into, or to be contributing in community work. I started contributing in community work. Whenever there was an event, I would go there and volunteer to do 1, 2, 3 things. And that is how I came now to engage with the community and be part of the community. Now it came a time when the project 207, when the project started, the water and sanitation people came on the ground. And because thereafter we had issues where people would come as NGOs, they would gather the people or the residents of that area together, take photos even of children who are walking around naked, dirty, and everything. And then after a short while, they could vanish into thin air. So the people had the perception that this is another organization which has come. They would just take us as the rest have been taking us and making money out of our problems. And they were a bit hesitant, but a few of us decided, because we don't have water, and we don't know whether the water will come, we have nothing to lose. Let us listen to these people. Let us hear what they have to say. What is here? Let us hear. Even if they are going to write to us, we won't have a problem, but wherever they go, their conscience will be disturbing them. That is how I got into the project through the water and sanitation for the urban poor. But there before, as you've seen the pictures here, we still have, we used to get water from donkey vedas, and there were about 3 boreholes, which are full of fluoride. And that is why I've told you, a child born and brought up in Naivasha, they have brown teeth, which also affects the bones. The worst is, in Kenya, I don't know whether we have discrimination or what, if you have brown teeth, you cannot be recruited into the disciplined forces. You cannot be employed in the media houses because they need somebody who can smile when presenting the news. In the disciplined forces, our young men and women usually go for interviews. They go for the recruitment, but they are never recruited because of the brown teeth. So when these people came and we heard what they were talking about, we kind of became interested. Because I don't know whether any one of you has ever experienced, you don't have money, you didn't have time to go to the rake, you are busy working, you are in the flower farm, you are leaving that place at around 8 in the evening. Then you come to the house, and there is no water. You are kind of, now what do I do? Women who are here, you can imagine, you had a long day at work. They usually work, in the flower farms, we work in greenhouses, which are very hot. The whole day you have been in the greenhouse. And then you come to the house, there is no water even for taking a bath. Now you can imagine the trauma we were going through. And then even you can go without food because water was going per jerry can of 20 liters. It was going for between 10 Kenya shillings and 20 shillings. And people there, we were living for less than $1 a day because the pay is around 6,000 shillings, 6,000 Kenya shillings. And that cannot be enough for the house, the school fees, and even for buying that water. So you can see why we were so passionate about hearing that we shall get water. We didn't mind whether it will be fluoride free, but at least get access to water, which is a bit clean. Because the donkey vedas, you don't know where that person has been. They use some kind of pipes to draw water from the jerry cans, and that same pipe is the one they use to whip the donkeys so that they can move. So waterborne diseases there were very, very many. There were many cases of waterborne diseases, even cholera. And now when we heard about the program, people were encouraged. Although we didn't fully trust that these people could implement but we decided to try it, I being one of them. And having come from a place where water was in plenty, going to a place where water is a problem, to me, hearing that there is somebody who is coming with a project which will help me access water, I felt it that these are God-given chance. So we started with them, but the way the project started, I myself saw that these are God-given chance, because they started with training the community, the need of having clean water, the need of having water with less fluoride, the need of women being empowered, the trainings on which they trained us on the basic business skills, the need to have good hygiene and sanitation. So although we started on a low footing, later on we saw that this thing is is taking us somewhere. We formed the water, the associations, the Water Vendors Association, Water Users Association. Even before, we formed a committee, whereby now we started, we embraced the project. When the project started, I saw some opening. I decided that this is the time I've been waiting for. This is the chance God has given me to start my life again. So the first phase was good. The piloting phase, it was good. We did what we could as women. We used to work as manual laborers. I used to work there as a manual laborer. We used to mix cement with the sand and all that. Although our pace wasn't that quick like men would do, I'm glad to say that the ones who are learning the project, they were very, very much interested in what women were doing and empowering women and showing us that you can do it if only you put your heart to it. So the first phase went well, and it was completed. Now when the second phase started, now that was Karagita, we have an upper place known as Mirera. When the second phase started, that is when I also got interested with the second phase. By then, I decided that I should have one kiosk after the kiosk have been completed. But in the process, I started, I saw an opportunity, a business opportunity. So I used to go and talk, sweet talk, those people who do transport, those who own lorries, those who own pickups. And I would go and talk to that person very, very humbly and request, please, can you supply me with at least one lorry of sand? And then within a short time, I'll be able to repay. They could, if a person had a good heart, or she had a good heart, he could or she could agree. Then after delivering, I could wait for my pay so that I can go and sort that person out. It went on like that until the kiosks were completed. I took one. I decided to be a vendor. I decided that right now I've got a business opportunity and I have to take it and learn with it. The kiosks are built in such a way that you can have a shop inside the kiosk. It's big enough. So if you get some little money, you can put up a shop and put foodstuffs there. Because the water is going for about 3 shillings per the 20-liter jerrycan. And that is the water with less fluoride. And there is the other one, 2 shillings. That is with fluoride, which you can use for washing and other household jobs, and use the other one, the one without fluoride, for cooking and drinking. That alone cannot sustain a family. And I've told you, I'm a mother of 3, and I'm single. And when things were not moving very well, my daughter did her secondary exam, got a B plus in Kenya. I don't know what is that here. And she was admitted in the university, but because of my poor financial situation, I couldn't take my daughter to the university. And then there was the second born who was still in secondary school, and there is another one who was in primary school. So I was kind of wondering what will happen to my children in future. So when I saw this opportunity, I decided, despite the fact that now I have water, because the kiosks are built in such a way that it is about 300 meters. One kiosk is here, the other one 3 kilometers, 3 meters. They are 3 meters apart. So even access now to clean water is very easy. Even for those who leave job at around 10, you just come and go to the kiosk and get water. So when the chance availed itself, I took the water vendoring. I took the water vendoring job, and I pulled a little stock. Now I was moving, because now I had to take the stock I had in that small business, where I was not able to pay the rent. So there was a time the landlord would come and put 2 padlocks on the door. And when I'm going to open my business, it's already locked. So you have nothing to do apart from you sit down there, cry your heart out. But at the end of the day, you say that life must go on. God will create a way. And now God had created a way through the project funded by Coca-Cola and partners. So when I started vendoring the water, and during the operation, when the thing was going on, when the construction was going on, I had started creating good rapport with those who do supplies and all that. So I did the water vendoring. I used to sell the shop. And with some women who we were trained with, I decided, why can't you find a way to grow ourselves? Because before, we used to go to the banks. There is a bank which is popular in Kenya known as Kaireb. We used to borrow from there, and we were not able to pay. You pay school fees for the child, then there is no stock. So at the end of the day, you find that the bank is there. They have touched the little household items you had, and then you go back to square zero. That is the life we were living. So when we started being water vendors, I decided, why can't we join as women? Why can't we come together, form women groups, try to grow our own money? And that is how we started the groups. I started one group where we could meet once a month, contribute about 300 shillings, each one of us being 20. We were 20, we could have at least 6,000 shillings. 6,000, we could look at among ourselves who is in their need of the money. And that one person could take, one could take 3,000, the other 3,000, and we could agree at the end of next month, you come with an interest of 10%, which is now about 300 on top. And that is how we started the women groups, where we started growing our own money, and we started empowering each other to move from point A to B. But the bottom line was, if the project had not started, we could not have thought that we could go to the women groups. We could not have had the trainings we had. We could not be the people we are today. I just forgot to bring you my pictures. If you see my picture back then and my picture right now, I'm a totally different person. You can't comprehend how I was then and how I am now. Even some people would think, you are not the same person. But it's because of the project. What Coca-Cola and partners have done for us, it's something we cannot tell. Especially us as women. it's something we cannot be able to say thank you enough. Because in that area, I hope one day some of you or all of you could have the privilege of coming to Naivasha. You come to Karagita. You come to where we live. See the situation which is there. The project kind of enlightened me, opened me up, that there are other chances, there are other things which you can do, which you have not ventured into. I'm very grateful because through the same, the project and all that, I've been able now to take my daughter to university. She was late, but at least she's there. I've been able to empower my son, who was not good in education. He's doing skating as a full-time job, and it's good. I've been able to educate my younger daughter, who is doing very well. By the way, when she was doing her final year in primary school, she got 401 out of a possible 500. And she's in her final year, so I'm expecting her to do much better. So the project has empowered me as an individual. And through me, I am trying, although I'm not where I think I should be, but I know I'll be there one day, my dreams will come true, but the project has empowered me. It has brought me from a person who was down there, despite having gone through counseling and all that. There was nobody to tell me, you can move from this point to this point. But through the partnership of Coca-Cola and water and sanitation for the urban poor and the partners, I was able to find myself. Because I can say I was lost. But I was able to find myself and come to my senses and start thinking about me and my children. My children really appreciate. I'm very happy to tell you right now that my children can come to my house very comfortably these days. Because apart from that, the water is very near where I live. So I am able to pipe the water to my home. Because through the same project, I was able to move from the 10 by 10 feet house and go to a bigger house. And soon, I'm very sure I'll be able to own my own place. I'll be able to get somewhere where I can call my home because I've decided that Naivasha is my home. So, as a family, for me and my children, we have seen where the project has brought us from to where we are today. From a person who was very down, from a person who was very depressed after being separated from the husband, to where I am today. I owe it to Coca-Cola and company and partners, to all those who have joined hands to make me and another 2.4 million access water, have basic business trainings, have that, what can I call it? Be able to raise our self-esteem. Because as I've told you, Naivasha, so many people having brown teeth. The self-esteem, especially for women and girls, it's a bit low. But with the knowledge now that we have clean water, a girl who is getting married, or a lady who is getting married, is now sure that my child will not have brown teeth. The reason is being, we have people who mind about us. We have people who care about us. We have people who have got our interest at heart. We have people who want us to raise our self-esteem. We have people who want us, our community, to grow. So on behalf of the 2.4 million who are in Africa and other places, I can say we are very, very humbled. We really appreciate what the project is doing. All in all, we know we've not reached where we would like to be in water and all that. We still have a long way to go. But having embraced the spirit of the project, headed by Coca-Cola and partners, we are ready to move. You've held our hand. and we are ready to go with you. We might be going slowly, but because you know the way how the way is, and the terrain how it is, I know you are ready to go with us as a community and as a society. On behalf of my family, my 3 kids, I really appreciate, and I know if it was not for the project, I wouldn't be where I am. The women who work in the flower farms wouldn't be where they are. The project in Naivasha has reached about 22,000 women. From the 45,000 you've been told about, it has reached, among the women, it has reached 22,000 women. Those who have benefited directly, they are 300 to 500, because the water kiosks are not so many, but there are those who have done very much, they've done great through the kiosks, through the basic training, and all that. So I would like to say that I'm humbled. I'm one person who is the way I am because of Coca-Cola and partners. And I know as African women, we are going to embrace the trainings you are giving us. We are going to embrace the issue of you bringing us clean water, because water is everything. Water is everything. I can attest to that. You can fail to go to a job. You can miss out on some many opportunities because of lack of water. I can say I'm really humbled to be here, and I can assure you I'll preach the gospel of whatever Coca-Cola is doing, more now that I've seen how you people have gathered together. Most of you maybe have not been to Africa, but you have our interest, my interest at heart. May God bless you abundantly. May God give you strength. May God give you the goodwill so that you can be able to help more of us, so that somebody else can be able to stand here and tell the story. I being one of them, I can attest that I've really benefited. I'm where I am because of you people. Continue with your good work. May God bless you.
If anybody doubted for 1 millisecond the value of what we do, I think we have the answer in front of us. Imagine Virginia multiplied 2.4 million times. That's our vision. That's what we're doing together. Thank you for telling your story, for inspiring us. I think we could spend an hour talking some more. What I would like to do is ask you if you'd be available after we finish the session here to take some questions for anybody who wants to ask more of Virginia. But now it's almost impossible, I think, to follow that speech. But if anybody's going to follow it, it should be Ambassador Segun Apata, who is the chairman of the Coca-Cola Africa Foundation, who I invite here to stand up and say a few words for us. Segun.
Wow, Virginia. What do I say? Let me start off by thanking you all for joining us this afternoon to celebrate the success of our RAIN program in Africa. We don't need any better testimony than what Virginia has provided this afternoon. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I thank you all, and I thank Bea for making time available for the period she spent with us. Virginia, as Coca-Cola Foundation, we are honored to have you as our partner, and thank you for what you do for your community, in particularly for empowering women and children, because from the story you told us this afternoon, the multiplier effect to the community is immeasurable. Can you all join me once again in thanking her? Well, RAIN is our flagship program, and the success of it is allow us as a foundation to beat our chest in providing a positive, long-lasting change to uplift communities in a sustainable manner on the continent. Back in 2009, the Coca-Cola African Foundation introduced Replenish Africa Initiative, RAIN, in response to the severe water challenges faced by nearly 300 million people living across Africa to have access to clean water. I think that is a challenge. That very same year, we made a commitment of $30 million as a foundation to improve access to safe water and sanitation for at least 2 million people by 2015. And we are delighted to celebrate that we not only met that target, we surpassed it. RAIN delivered beyond that ambitious goal, reaching over 2 million beneficiaries and fulfilling the global sustainability priorities in communities throughout Africa. I want us now to take a moment to recognize all those that contributed to this success story. Our partners, without which we could not have reached this milestone. We know collaboration for action is key to our sustainable efforts. They brought expertise and resources, and were dedicated consistently to find solutions that make impact to various communities on our continent. I'm referring to GETF and USAID, who have been dedicated to the water cause for some time now. Then our beneficiaries, whom own and make the project sustainable in the various communities. Our work is to support these communities as they play a significant role in facilitating and sustaining the work we do as a foundation. Our success largely depends on them, as we don't take it for granted. This has been part of the reason why RAIN is the success story that we celebrate today. Our colleagues, in particular the Foundation Secretariat, Susan, and your team, that small team, you do marvelous work. We are very proud of you, who have made the highest dedication and paid the way for the RAIN results. The Coca-Cola Company has provided significant resources and network to establish the program. We are grateful to the Coca-Cola Company and to the Global Foundation. Our colleagues from Atlanta, from the Coca-Cola Foundation, have provided the funds, and the water stewardship team, Greg and Joe, who have provided technical support all these years. Our board of trustees, with whom there's tremendous dedication, favor, and interest in ensuring that RAIN and other programs of the foundation reach the milestone that we set ourselves. With our partners, we commit to transform 6 million African lives through water, sanitation, and hygiene for the next phase 2. Economically empower another 250,000 women like Virginia, who will have other wonderful stories to tell us over time. Promote health and hygiene in thousands of communities, schools, and health centers, and return up to 18.5 billion liters of water to nature by 2020. I thank you all for joining us this afternoon, and I renew the commitment of the Board of Trustees and the Foundation to pursuing these goals with utmost dedication that we have demonstrated in all our 3 pillars. And I thank you all this afternoon. Hamish.
Thank you, Segun, for your leadership of the Board of Trustees of the Africa Foundation. The final act of this celebration today is to formally recognize and commemorate this achievement of 2 million beneficiaries for the RAIN program. So I'd like to invite again Tom Harvey, Monica Ellis, and Nabia Ofuso-Ama to join us from GTF, and of course, Mr. Nathan Columbo, who by special invitation of the chairman of the Board of Trustees asks you to be on stage. So please come join. And Tom, if I can ask you to make this formal presentation.
If I could, Ambassador, what I'd like to do, this is our report card. That's what this is. This is the Ernst & Young validation that says that we did what we said we did. So I'd like to present this to you, sir.
Thank you very much.
On behalf of all of those 140 partners, 80 African-based, who have made this possible. And thank you to Coca-Cola and the team, Susan and everyone else, for making this accomplishment.
Is there any photograph? We need a photograph because this is a milestone.
This is a milestone.
Let's go to photo.
Carlos, grab your iPhone.
Yeah, we need a photo.
It's organizing that.
We're good?
Yes.
And of course, there's one last thing. The no certificate goes without a shiny award to accompany it. So
I, on
Provide
behalf
this
of
as
the
well.
board, also present to GETF in recognition of your outstanding performance.
Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our formal presentation today. I want to thank all of you for being here, our Atlanta associates, particularly our partners, GETF, Nathan, Segun, thank you for being here, and particularly Virginia for your inspiring words, which I think are still sending chills down our spine. Thank you for who you are, for what you do. You talked about growing. I think we all grew a little bit today listening to you. So thank you, everybody, for coming.